Hi, I'm Danny.
And I'm Si. Welcome to Business in the Brew, a podcast dedicated to all things business with the occasional cuppa.
We take a business story, theory, or something we just want to chat about and give it a dusting of our own special personality and sense of humour, combined with our experience and knowledge. We're both business graduates and have run our own businesses for many years. We can't wait for you to listen.
So,
How many fingers you got,
3,
Liz?
2, 1. So, welcome to part 2 of our take on imposter syndrome.
With the fabulous Dawny.
Hello.
Hello again,
That probably wasn't
Dawn.
very tuneful,
Right.
sorry.
Yes, that wasn't. But you're not known for your tunes, are
I'm
you?
not known for my tunes. Dawn's known for her tunes. You sing like a nightingale.
Oh,
I sing like a cat being strangled.
So we've just got to the point where we were talking about your
Yeah,
sense of agency.
you triggered
and
me.
triggered you.
And then we talked about leadership and agency, yes.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll continue from that point.
Okay.
And if you've not heard episode
Part 1, suggest you
go and listen
back,
to it now.
because otherwise it won't make any
This
sense.
is not going to make any sense yet. So we haven't talked about the effects that imposter syndrome has on the individual.
As in physically. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, did I spoil the
Yeah.
surprise?
And what they exhibit within themselves.
yeah.
Okay, go.
So chronic self-doubt. Well, we all know that one. They often feel they're not as competent as others perceive them to be. They may attribute success to luck, timing, or deception rather than skill or hard work.
We said that, didn't we?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the one that hurts me in that list is the deception.
Yeah.
Because you're not a deceptive person?
No, but because when people feel that they've deceived people, it's not just the feeling of the imposter syndrome. That is also them taking a hit at their own moral character.
Yeah.
That's deep, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not nice.
That's true. Anxiety and stress resulting from that. Constant fear of being found out can lead to anxiety, burnout, and perfectionism.
Well, the thing is, when you operate under that perfect thing where you always need to be perfect, but you're never perfect enough, you will just keep going and
Yeah.
going and going till you burn
Yeah.
yourself out. I
Yeah.
have definitely been there.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's compounded by trying to keep up a facade.
Yes, but all the while, everything's fine. Don't worry,
Yeah.
everything's fine. I can do this because I'm really good at what I do.
Just keep throwing it at me. Yeah. It can lead to confidence issues and motivation, so decreased confidence and, oh God, I can't go on.
I thought you were saying that about the episode. I've had enough. I just can't take it anymore.
You got 20 minutes and that's it. Yeah. So the high achievers can also downplay their success, maybe avoid challenges, procrastinate, fear of failure, and procrastination is a trauma response, isn't it?
Yeah.
To fear of failure.
It's like people who don't post and stuff because they want to be perfect before they go out. They're like, oh, I'll just tweak it a bit more, just try it a bit more.
It's a real fear of something going wrong. So
Yeah.
you know, come on, there's things that you've done. You put stuff off because you know that you're going to have to tackle it, and you don't want to tackle it because the concern is it's going to backfire.
Yeah, like I
on you.
had when I had a new client and it was on a temporary contract, so I could kind of not prove myself, but make sure it was viable for both sides. And a problem came up. I ended up sticking my head in the sand about it because the minute I faced into the problem, I faced into the fact that I could be jeopardising the longevity of the contract. And that just gives a vicious cycle because the more you delay it, the worse the problem becomes, the bigger it becomes in your head, and then suddenly you're rocking on the floor, having a tantrum.
Yeah, but it's so easy to go from that step 1,
0 to 100 miles
that
an hour.
mental process.
Yeah.
It's like pushing a ball down a hill. You almost don't have time to catch it before it's already gone, and the processing mentally has already occurred. And then
it sounded like a long process when I said it, but actually it's seconds.
No, it's
one day you avoid something for one day, and then suddenly it's the big bad wolf hiding in the closet, and you can't look at it. And one day becomes 2 days, becomes 3, and then you couldn't possibly deal with it because it's been 3 days now, and that's just embarrassing.
Yeah, but what about the outward-facing part of that, which is actually you don't then want to go and maybe go for promotion, or actually, what about being in a meeting? Yeah, let's say a meeting, or you're in a conference, and they say any questions.
Oh, good Lord.
And you've got a burning question, but someone else is going to ask that. Or
I'm more like my question's going to sound stupid, or it's not
Yes.
going to be a good question.
That's exactly
Or everyone's
where
going to
I'm
look at you like, did you not listen properly?
Or we already covered that. Thanks very much. Yeah.
That's exactly where I would be at as well.
Yeah. The fear of failure, obviously we're talking about that in anxiety and stress, but new opportunities may prevent the exposure happening. You're all of a sudden exposed as being this.
I think that's why a lot of people avoid things like social media and stuff, because it's so exposing.
100%.
There's a massive vulnerability to putting yourself out there.
To a degree, that's where a lot of people have actually gained their confidence, though, because there's an anonymity about it. You can say things without actually any retribution. And if the retribution comes, you can take yourself out.
But once you've taken that first step, the second step is easier. For a lot of people, taking that first step is an almost impossible hill to climb.
Yeah, and I think we've spoken about this before. One of the reasons why I went into doing positive psychology was because people were coming to me for visibility and advertising on social media. And the immediate thing that was coming up for us in our first session was a mental and emotional block, nothing to do with the viability of their idea, their brand, their business, and everything to do with, I can't possibly share a picture of myself because my friend from high school, Sheila, is watching and she judges me.
Yeah.
And it took me maybe 6 or 7 months of constantly coming up against the same kinds of blocks. And it was exposure fear. It was everyone's going to think that I am trying to be somebody that I'm not. Everybody is going, who does she think she is? I don't want my husband to see me sharing things. I don't want the girls down the gym seeing me sharing things, whatever. And it's a massive way to stop yourself from being exposed or putting you in a position where people can have an opinion about you.
But imagine I've said it to you earlier this year. This year for me is very much, and last year, taking opportunities, because you don't know what you're going to miss out on if you don't take the opportunities. And then, as you just said, that fear is going to stop you doing, taking a content shoot in Ibiza, or turning up to a room full of strangers you don't know, or going on a course and turning up on a Zoom with your camera on.
Absolutely.
All these little steps build up to amazing. You don't know what they are. You don't know what's around the corner or what this person you meet could bring to your life or the change they could make to who you are as a person. But sometimes you just have to go for the bottle of wine and get really drunk.
Yeah, you do. You actually do. And you don't know that your imposter syndrome is robbing you of all of those experiences.
Yeah. But the individual is only one aspect of it. What about what it takes from the workplace? The potential losses to the workplace. If the effect it has on innovation and creativity. Well, I can't possibly,
Yeah.
Because you'll only get the loud ones talking, and the loud ones aren't necessarily the ones with the best ideas. They're just the ones that are the loudest.
I would hazard from my personal experience that the loud ones definitely are not.
Definitely not. But it kind of brings into play then having a good working environment with good management and good leadership, where this brings out.
They recognise this is that.
This is kind of like a partner. These are partner episodes with the one that we did about leadership and about management.
Well, to be fair, all of our episodes kind of go together because they build this picture of
business
and what's good.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. This is, after all, business and a brew.
It is.
We haven't had a brew.
I was just literally just looked at the coffee table like, that's a good point. Where's my brew?
I've had a McDonald's milkshake. It's not the same.
We've given it away that it is actually a cup of tea and not beer we've got in those mugs.
Damn.
It wasn't the first time. The first one we ever recorded, I had
Prosecco.
I had Prosecco and orange juice. I needed it to calm myself down.
And look at you now.
I know. I'm here. I'm calm. It's all fine. I've got my blanket on.
Yeah, so there are some losses in the workplace for sure. Productivity, engagement, retention and talent. Talent drain, people going. Kind of don't feel as though they fit in, they don't feel as though they can contribute.
That's a bit of a loss to the world, though, because if you've got people who constantly leave places because they don't feel they're good enough.
Yeah, and I do think, when it comes to a bit of a wider bird's eye view, humanity in general, we haven't even seen half of the potential of the people that we have on this planet, because it is the loud ones. Resources are edged in certain, areas. There are people
Money.
who are more privileged,
Good looks,
good looks where you live, all of these different things, and we could go into that for a million years, but there will be so many losses to humanity just on the basis of people who don't feel like they belong, that don't have the mental capacity to realise that there are tools to support this very natural feeling and phenomenon, and won't understand until there is the awareness of it on a grander scale, just how common it is.
But how solvable it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've said it yourself. You took positive psychology to help your clients deal with that block they have. It's not, oh my God, I've got imposter syndrome. This is it now for the rest of my life. I will never be good enough. Never mind. We'll just go and crawl into a hole and cry. It's very much that recognition. You said, I think, in the first episode, that recognition is the first step. Then you've got to start looking at, okay, well, what are the tools?
Yeah.
What are the things, the conversations I can have with myself that undo that negative thought pattern?
Right.
And
Challenging.
maybe with a supportive leadership, can I go and talk to my leadership about it? Can I try to maybe have some assistance?
Yeah,
Try and
mentors,
give me a
leaders.
bigger voice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because I do have something to say. I would like to say it, but I feel undervalued by other people. Maybe
which feeds it, doesn't it?
Absolutely does.
It feeds it.
Yeah.
And maybe just flipping the evidence in the other direction, because we look, we do have cognitive bias, and we look for things that make us right. So if we think, I'm an imposter, I don't have it, we will find evidence to prove our own theory. Maybe you just flip that with a mentor.
Yeah.
And look for evidence that you do have it.
Yeah.
And I think a big part of it is actually knowing what it is calling it what it is.
Yeah.
And actually identifying that. Because if it has no name, why am I always feeling a little bit crap? Why am I always feeling as though I don't have any confidence? Right. Well, that is the reason, which is actually something that has happened post-lockdown, where people are able to identify maybe why they're feeling a little bit off, they're feeling a little bit awkward, or maybe even disenfranchised somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be great. A great start. And I think the term is very well known these days.
I think it
has become much better known over in the approach to lockdown and post-lockdown.
I think
but still, there has to be a conversation about it.
In our world of self-employment, I think terms like that are better known because we're self-reflective as a group naturally, because we look at what we do, we look at how we want to be better, and you've got this massive echo chamber in your head, haven't you, of all the negative thoughts and all the other stuff going on. You kind of need to find out more about yourself in order to educate yourself and take that next step.
Yeah.
You want to run a business and you've got a block about social media, you've got a really big problem.
Yeah.
You have to do something.
Yeah.
You're in corporate world and your job's social media and you really don't like it. Well, do you know what? I'll just take a sideways move and work in PPC or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't have those opportunities in our world. So I do think, yes, it is better known, but I think it's better known probably within self-employment, entrepreneurship and that sort of thing. I think in the corporate structure, it's very easy to just keep your head down, keep really still and quiet. And,
you get into a conversation about culture there as well, because
Definitely.
depending on the...
That's my next bit.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Although this is just rolling naturally, so kind of don't need those notes.
But, in a corporate setting, being able to be honest and vulnerable with your peers about those feelings is not always commonplace.
No.
And that will come down to that, that structure, that environment that each individual corporate company has a responsibility to build and maintain for themselves. And let's be honest, all of us have experiences and, some understanding of corporate in varying different degrees. And they're not well known for their loving,
touchy
nurturing
feeling, no. But you're never going to like everyone you work with. It's a bit like you're never going to like everyone in your family, and you don't have to. When it comes to work, you need one person, whether that is a leader, whether that's a mentor, whether that's just a colleague you get on really well with. You need to have built
probably
a relationship.
Not going to be your middle manager.
Your accidental useless manager.
Your accidental useless middle manager. So look elsewhere, people.
Go and listen to that episode if you haven't already. Yes.
But I think that one person, that would make a difference. It would be great if companies were just full of people. Every single person was a I'm sorry, do you feel all right? Do you want a hug?
Yes.
Which reminds me of that story.
A hugger, yes.
Yeah, but it's not going to be like that. It's never going to be like that. There's always going to be the loud ones, the quiet ones, the narcissists that just want to do a 9 to 5, go home and not think about it.
Right, and there's always going to be the corporate structure that favours the baseline result over the emotional well-being of the employee. And if the loud person is bringing in, for instance, if they're in a sales position and they're bringing in money, they're not going to be challenged, and other people will be overlooked and potentially under-supported because the corporate container and their main drivers are being met. And whilst those things are being met, everything else can to some degree go by the wayside. So I think you mentioned in an earlier episode about leadership, about people who were going and taking it upon themselves to learn in management and actually invest in their own cash and time to do that. And I really do think that this might be something that fits within that same container. It's absolutely totally well known in our world. But if you're listening to this and you're in corporate, you don't have to rely on that environment. You can go and learn about this. And
there are spaces where
that should be part of a supportive workplace.
Yeah.
And if I may say, because what I want to do is I want to try and draw this onto the next stage, which is actually the usefulness of people who are blighted with imposter syndrome.
Blighted? Well, like potato famine.
Careers are often blighted by it.
Hobbled.
And this is my own limited research. There's some sample of one, but also all the people on my cohort and what I've learned from other people.
And us.
I can talk about it quite a lot. People with the syndrome largely become highly constructive and useful members of an organisation because they have very high levels of conscientiousness.
Because you want to do your best.
Mostly these are incredibly conscientious people, and that should be something that is actually celebrated, welcomed.
It's not a soft
supported.
skill.
Absolutely not. And organisations can, if they foster a supportive culture, and they allow for management to particularly spot and support people who may be, kind of suffering a bit,
have potential but are struggling.
But basically promote some. We were talking about inclusivity on a previous episode as well, but having an inclusive environment, actually bringing people out, bringing their skills out. But not only my straw poll, if you like, amongst the people I've known, there is actually a strong connection between imposter syndrome and high levels of conscientiousness, and it has been proven in research. So my gut feeling was that was the case. But the highly valuable contribution they make. So they will externally exhibit a strong work ethic, attention to detail, desire to meet or exceed expectations, and have a persistent drive to improve or prove themselves.
They're essentially that really good, solid employee. They don't make a lot of noise. They don't complain a lot. They're just good.
In spite of what we think
they're actually performing.
We are actually
the structure that holds everything together.
And actually the solid people that you need within an organisation.
Yeah.
And those loudmouths, all right, every workplace and every tribe and community has them. It's actually the people who are actually in the background.
But you do risk in that situation going completely unseen and burning yourself out completely because you're just trying harder and harder and harder without the recognition.
Yeah, and I think there's definitely something to be said for a skill set where you recognise that within yourself and the boundaries and the way that we abandon ourselves to prove ourselves in those moments. And until you're aware of the motivations of those things, it's very, very difficult to detect. Like, I wasn't productive enough today because I was checking Facebook and chatting to my pals, so I'm going to do a little bit extra later is one thing. Yeah. I could stay till midnight tonight and it still wouldn't be enough for my manager is a completely different thing. So it comes back to being conscientious, self-aware, but also having that honesty with yourself over whether you have performed well, you haven't performed well, or whether this is something to do with your need to prove, your need to feel seen, your needs that aren't being met in other areas.
Yeah. do you know, I've got so much more. We could go on for another half an hour with this. We really could. There is so much more to this that actually support and the value, but also there are some other slight negative sides, which is risk of burnout and under recognition. And this can be managed. It can be managed well. But I'm just gonna finish off with the bottom line on this, which is that these people and ourselves are included in this, and you, Lewis, no doubt, that the most diligent, responsible, and valuable team members. The same conscientiousness that makes us high performers can also lead to internal struggles and long-term costs, unless supported properly. So if you're considering any management listening, if you're considering workplace policy, leadership training or personal development programs, try to involve those that might be a little bit quieter and actually might be a little bit more unspoken, to try and increase their strengths and increasing their self-doubt, which could completely unlock their potential. I've actually even done a framework.
You created your own framework?
Well, yeah, because it's things that I could have done with, you know.
Okay, go on.
And I'm not going to go into it now. I'm just saying there could be a whole lot.
I was excited then.
But it's just
another framework.
It's just would you like to have the last word?
I'm going to use some of the last words, because I let Dawn have the last word because she's special guest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use some of the last words for some shameless self-promotion, because I do feel that if you do want to learn more about imposter syndrome and some of the coping strategies, my new book, thank you very much, guys, The I Am Resilience, is a very good starting point for understanding the negative thought patterns you have and tools to learn to cope with those.
Mm-hmm.
I have put that out there now. You may now have the last word,
That was
Donna.
shameless.
It was shameless, wasn't it? But that's okay, because it's my podcast, so yeah.
I agree.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thanks, Sam.
Thanks for supporting us by downloading and listening to this episode.
And a massive thank you also to Dawny, Emily, Nat and Lewis and the BTD Studios for all your expertise in bringing our podcasting dream to reality.
We'd love it if you commented on this episode, as we'd really like to know what you think and what you might like us to cover in future episodes.
And we'll see you on the next one.